everyone, this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make a necklace to match the bracelets we made in the previous tutorial. I will be making an earring tutorial separate also. I was going to make it with this necklace, so I show you the stuff for the earrings in the next segment. However, I think I'm going to keep it into a separate tutorial, or make it into a separate tutorial, just because of time issues. So this is what we're making today. This is with the Elegant bag and this is with the Festive bag. And I'm using some beading chain, and it just turns out really pretty. Let me zoom out a little bit, or at least move so you can see the top of the necklace. Of course, it stretches out. And they lay really nicely on the neck. They're a little double strand and turn out really pretty and match the little bracelets we made in the last tutorial very nicely. So let's go ahead and look at what it takes to make this set, or this necklace, and I will show you for both bags, of course, and we will get started. Okay, for this tutorial today, we are going to be making a necklace and earring set that will match the bracelets that I made in the previous tutorial. We will be using the Festive and Elegant treasure bags. The bags differ a little bit in the selection of beads, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using for the Festive bag and for the Elegant bag. They both turn out beautiful. They're just a little bit different selection of beads in the bags. So what we're going to be using that will be in both necklaces are some 8/0 seed beads. This is a galvanized permanent finish Toho, and it is Starlight. Then we will be using some 15/0 seed beads in the earrings. And it is the same Toho galvanized permanent finish Starlight. Then you'll need a couple ear wires, and I just have these little French wires in a gold tone. And then you'll be using one of the clasps, the lobster claw clasp from the bag, and an 8mm jump ring. Then adding to the bag, I'm going to be using these little clamshell ends, and I have mine in a gold-plated brass, so it's the nice golden color. You can also use crimp tube ends for beading chain if you would like. That's fine too. And then we're going to be using a few of the 6mm round beads in the earrings. So in the Elegant bag, we will be using 2 of the black glass beads. They're the crystal glass. And in the Festive bag, we'll be using 2 of the clear glass beads, 6mm round. We are also going to be using, just in the Festive bag, I'm adding 4 little bead caps. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do it. But because the beads are a little bit different, I think that these big rondelles I'm going to use in the Festive bag will look prettier with a bead cap. It's up to you. Then for the beads, the main beads in the necklace, we're going to be using for the Festive bag the 4x6 oval beads. They're the clear glass little oval bead like this. We're going to be using those. And for the Elegant bag, we're going to be using 4x3 rondelles, and this is the black half gold electroplated beads. And then we're going to be using 4 large crystal accents in our necklaces. For the Festive bag, we're going to be using 3 of the large rondelles, the flat end rondelles that are in the bag. And if you're doing this without the Festive or Elegant treasure bag, you can use any crystals that you would like that are a little bigger in size. These are like an 8x10, I believe, and these are 10x7 or 13x7, something like that. In the material list beneath the video player in the description box, you will see exact sizes. I'll write everything out for you. And then we're going to be using the 2 flower pendants. So in the Festive bag, it's the clear crystal and brass, or glass and brass. And in the Elegant, it is the black glass and brass with the clear little accents on the leaves here. Then we're going to add to the treasure bag, and you'll need this for both necklaces, some beading chain. So I have gold colored beading chain. This is also called Coriana chain, and I have some on my website if you would like some. A lot of us have this in our stash already. And you can always string this, just use the basic shape of it and string it instead of doing beading chain, but I think this is a really pretty accent to this. I've cut 2 pieces. I've cut one 19 inches long and the other one 17.5 inches long for this necklace because it's going to be a double strand. And then I'm going to use in the earrings some 26 gauge wire. I've cut 2 7-inch pieces. You are also going to need, do I need these? Yes, some size 1 crimp tubes. So this is a beadalon size 1 in the golden color. And this we will use to stabilize our beads on the beading chain. And that's what we're going to be using. So go ahead and get your things together, whether it be the Elegant or the Festive or both, and let's get started. Okay, so I have already made the Festive bag one, but I'm going to show you as we do this. We'll reference the one I've made because when we string this up, we are going to use a little bit different numbers of the beads because we're using different shapes and sizes from the Elegant bag to the Festive bag. This is what the Elegant bag one looks like, and I'm just going to get you close so you can see how pretty it lays in the front here. And we will be using 5 of the 4x3 rondelles on each section here, and then 4 on these 2, or excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4. So no, we will be using 5 of them here, 5 of them here, and 5 here and here. And with the Festive bag, we will be using 4 of the oval beads in each section, just to let you know the difference there because of the size of the beads. Now, to start this, you're going to pick up your 19-inch piece of beading chain, and we're going to start it by picking up our pendant, and we're going to put 8 seed beads on either side and kind of in the middle of the little bail that's on the back here. So you can see this bail is like looped here. We're going to have an 8 between these 2 loops as well on either side. So we're going to pick up, let's go ahead and pick up 3 8 seed beads onto one side of the beading chain. Now if you're having issues picking up your beads, you can harden the end of your beading chain with a little bit of super glue. Just put a little bit on there, wipe it off with like a little plastic bag, then set it down and let it harden. And that will help you pick up your beads if you would like to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up 4. And then I'm just going to slide on my pendant so you can see. Let's get you in even closer. And I'm sorry for the shadowing. Again, I'm in a hotel room. I'll explain the reasons why in the beginning of the video, but I'm sorry for the shadowing. I can't seem to control my lighting at all here. It's dark in this room. So anyway, we're going to pick up the beading chain and we're going to put it through the bail, just like this. And then we're going to bring it down and we are going to center this pendant and the 8 on the beading chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let 2 of the beads kind of fall into the bail here. Oh, come on, you can do it. Okay, so that's not happening. There we go. So I just kind of shook it so you can see that the 8 seed beads have fallen between and under the bail here. So I've got 1 on this side still, and then I've got 3 under the bail. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that one down a little bit further. And then, so I've got 4. I'm going to put 2 more on this side of the chain, because I've got an extra one sticking out there. And then I'm going to put 1 more on the other side. So what I will have will be 7 beads on here, and I want 2 kind of towards the outside of the bail and 3 underneath that bail. So come here, and I'm going to show you what I have. So I'm going to get in really close here so you can see what's happening here. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, so this is what we have. So we have 7 beads, 2 are towards the outside, 3 are underneath that bail. You just shake them under, and then 2 are on the outside of this side. Then I am going to recenter. So I'm going to put the ends of my chain together and make sure everything's nice and centered. So I'll just put these together, and at this point you can slide everything around and you can get them in the middle of the chain the best you can. And then I'm just going to separate my chain like this. And then I can work on either side without disturbing my centering too much. It will a little bit, not horribly. So what we'll do from this point now is we're going to put on 4 of our oval beads, or 5 of the 4x3 beads if you're doing the elegant bag. Everything else will be the same, just the count of the beads here are a little different. So I'm going to put on 4 of these, and it's going to take a minute simply because I did not harden my chain. I do not have super glue in the hotel room here, so I'm just going to have to rough it here. So there, I have dropped my 4 beads down, and then I'm going to pick up one of my bead caps. For the elegant bag, I'm going to use this Rondelle and bead cap. For the festive bag, you're just going to drop down one of these big crystals that are in your bag. So you can do this without the bead cap too. I just thought that because of the shape of this, it would enhance the shape of the necklace with a little bead cap on either side. So I'm going to just drop down a bead cap, then I'm going to drop down my big bead. Now if you're doing the elegant bag, this is the strand we're working on right here. So you're going to have your 7 beads in the middle with your pendant, your 5 rondelles, your big bead, and then we're going to put 5 more rondelles on. So on this one, I'm going to put on another bead cap. From the inside out here, I will string it on. And then I'm going to pick up, let's see, 4 of my oval beads. And this could be a century for you guys to wait for me. I'm sorry my hands are all beat up too. I've been cleaning out an apartment all week and working really hard with my hands, and they look like it, and I apologize, but it's just a situation that is what it is, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, but I wanted to make sure that you all got your treasure bags, even though other things are going on in my life. You got your treasure bags out, and I wanted to make sure we got the videos going. So now that we have this, we're then going to get a size 1 crimp bead here, and I'm going to put this on here. Oh, come on. There we go. We're going to drop the size 1 down. And then we're going to do the other side exactly the same way, and then we'll center everything and we'll crimp these little crimp beads down to stabilize. So go ahead and string the other side of your necklace. As soon as I have mine ready, I will be back. And this is what it will look like for the elegant bag, just like this. So you're going to put on your 5 rondelles and then put on your big bead, your 5 rondelles, and then your crimp bead. So let's go ahead and do that on both sides of the necklace, and we'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, I have strung both sides, and what I now want to do, let me back you off a little bit here, is I'm going to pick up both ends of my chain and put them together, and then just make sure that everything is centered on your chain. So I'm pulling it like this, I'm putting everything centered, because that flower kind of is deceiving. So make sure you push it down and have it centered really nice like this. And then we're just going to take one side. I think I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. Everything's laying together nice. There's no gaps or anything. I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers and this little size 1 crimp tube on this side, I'm just going to squeeze. Now, I've done that while it's laying down, as you can see, so that I didn't disturb anything. Then I can take this side, push it up to that bead, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I'm going to back off just a smidgen, just so that the beads aren't really squished tight together. So I'm going to reach over here, I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to push down on everything so everything's together, then I'm going to back off slightly, and I'm going to squeeze this one. Now I have my design stabilized in the middle of my necklace, just like this. And I've done this on many tutorials, so this shouldn't be anything too new. Unless you're brand new, then welcome, but you know. And now we're just going to put some ends on this. So it's prepared and ready, and then we're going to make another, the inside layer separately, and we will put them together on the jump rings. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure everything is the same, is I'm laying it out. Now I did get a little discrepancy. Let me make sure here. On the ends, and I cut my 19 inches, and I really want around 18 inches for this, and I did that on purpose so that I have some room in case my center got off center. So now I can just put these together and cut them the same size like that. Just make sure they're pretty close to the same. And then we're going to grab, and I messed up, you're going to need 6 of your little bead caps. Let's see. No. Yes, you're going to need 6 of your little bead caps, and you're actually going to need 4 of these little clamshell ends. And sorry about that in the beginning. My brain isn't working very good. So anyway, we're going to grab a crimp tube, size 1, for both sides, so you're going to need 2, and then first we're going to put on one of our little clamshells. So from the bottom of the clamshell, I'm going to slide the chain in. So what I'm considering the bottom is the side that does not open. So the side that's open, we're going to hold away from us, and we're going to drop this chain into the bottom of the clamshell. And you know, it's really not hard, but I'm making it that way for myself here. It's a stupid finger of mine that doesn't work, you know. So then we're going to put, I try to use it because people get annoyed with me because my finger's sticking up. People tell me that my finger annoys them, and I'm so sorry, but you know, it doesn't work, so I move it out of the way. Now, I've slid this little tiny crimp tube on here. I've got my clamshell on from the bottom up, and I'm just going to grab a hold of this and move it up to where there's just maybe a millimeter of chain sticking out, and I'm going to squeeze it like that. Then I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to close the clamshell gently, just kind of push on the belly, make sure that the 2 ends are lined up nicely, and then squeeze them together. They kind of just weld together when you do that. And we'll do the same thing with the other side. So grab your little bead, your little crimp bead. Let's see if I can use my other hand maybe it won't be such a mess here. And slide that on there. And I'm just leaving just about 1 millimeter of chain sticking out, so you can see that right there. And I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna just squeeze it as tight as I can. And you know what? You have to put your clamshell on first. So this is a good way for me to show you how to correct this kind of mistake. So what we're going to do is, we've squeezed this flat. We're going to put our tool, our pliers, on the sides of it and squeeze it back into a circle and take it off. And that way you can correct your mistake if you've squeezed your tube on there before you should have. We have to put our clamshell on first. Let me back off just a little because the shadowing is so bad. And let me put this on here. So anyway, what's going on, guys, is I had a death in the family. And I had to go to Nebraska and help clean out his apartment and make some final arrangements and things. So that's where I'm at. And in the process, so now I'm squeezing this on here just like I did before. Nice and tight with a little bit of chain sticking out. In the process, I have inherited his cat. So I've never been a cat owner, but I don't want to take her to a shelter or anything. And she was very special to this family member. So if anyone has any advice on how to acclimate a cat to a new home and a new owner that she does not know, I'd appreciate it. Leave it in the comments below, because I need as much advice as I can get. I'm very nervous about taking her home, and she's hissed at me a couple of times, and I think that's just because she's scared, but I know there's some cat lovers out there that can help me. Anyway, here is the ends of this one, like this, and I'm going to back off and show you what it looks like now. So this is one part of our necklace. This is going to be the longer portion. So we're going to build a middle portion now. So this one, if you can see it, we've taken one crystal on the shorter piece, the 17-inch piece, and we've centered it, and we're going to put some beads on either side and then crimp them off. Then we will also do the same with the clamshell ends on that particular piece of chain. So grab your 17.5-inch piece of chain, and now we're just going to first put our crystal on. So if you're using the Elegant bag, you'll just grab this one, and then you're going to put an 8/0 seed bead on either side of your Elegant necklace. So you'll put this bead on and 2 8/0s. On this one, we're going to center the crystal first, just like you do with the black crystal. Put it on. We don't have to center it perfectly yet because we're going to move it around too much anyway. Then for the Elegant, I'm going to put a bead cap on either side. And again, you don't have to do that. You can just put 8/0 seed beads on either side, even on the necklace. So if you don't have the bead cap, don't worry about it. And you can use any bead caps you want. That'll be fine. So I'm trying to put my bead caps on here. Okay, so now I have a bead cap on either side, and then I'm going to go ahead and put an 8/0 seed bead. On the Elegant bag, just put on your black crystal and 2 8/0 seed beads, one on either side of the crystal. So let me get this one on here. Got an 8/0, and I'm just thinking that this is going to give me a little bit more movement, or just, you know, kind of narrow it down for the beads that I'm going to use next to it, since they're so small. Now I'm going to put my ends together, and I'm going to pull the ends so that they're even here, and center this the best I can, like that. Now everything's kind of falling apart, and that's okay. Just let it just kind of do its thing. And then we're going to pick up And I haven't made this one yet. I made the one with the other crystals. So if we have issues with the ADOs being on there, we can always take them off if it makes it too square. But I think it's going to be okay. So now I'm going to put on 4 of my oval crystals. And with the Elegant bag, you're going to put on 5 of your 4x3 crystals, or 4mm crystals, whatever they are. And again, I will have everything in the material list in the description box beneath the video player, so you'll know exact sizes and numbers. And this little guy does not want to go on here. There we go. And now we're going to put 4 on this side, and then we'll drop a crimp tube. And I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just stringing them on, and that's kind of boring anyway. So I am just going to go ahead and drop a crimp tube on this side, and then I will finish putting the beads on and drop a crimp tube on, or a crimp bead, since they're size 1 round. They're more crimp bead than crimp tube. That, my friend, does not look right. So let's get another one. Okay. And let's go ahead and put this on here. Come on. Do it. Just do it. There we go. So that's what that's going to look like. And this is what it's going to look like for the Elegant bag. So go ahead and finish up stringing all that together, and we will be back, and we will crimp these off and make our ends. So be back in a second. Okay, so I have strung all my beads on. I'm going to put my ends together again and make sure that everything slides down nice and centered on to my beading chain, like that. And then I'm going to just secure one side by squeezing it nice and tight. And then I'm going to push it all together, make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm just going to back off just a tiny bit and then squeeze that one. That gives room for some play in the beads. Now, because I have bead caps, I may have to rethink that. I have too much play. So I'm going to, again, go on the side here and open this one up. And I'll show you why. I have a little too much slack in there. And for the bead caps, generally I tell you to back off. But for the bead caps, I think we're going to have it fairly tight so that they stay up against that. So I've opened my little crimp tube back up just by squeezing the opposite direction from the way that I originally squeezed it down on the chain. And now I'm going to push on that, and maybe just even a hair I'll back off, and then I'm going to squeeze that down again. Now, see, if it's too tight, here's the issue here. If it's too tight, you're not going to get it to hang correctly. It's going to be straight. So again, I'm going to have to open this one more time, and I may replace it if it's not going to cooperate again. And I know I can open it. I just want to make sure that it's going to stay secure once I do. So I'm going to open this. There. So now it's loose, and I have to have enough slack for this to move. So I'm going to bring this up and kind of circular, and then I'm going to tighten it together a little bit and see how this works. And that did destroy my crimp, so I'm going to put another one on there. You can get away with it opening it once, but more than that, it can weaken your crimp tube. But I did get it off and I can redo it, so that's okay. So I'm going to drop another one down. And I want those bead caps to stay nice, but I don't want it so tight that I literally cannot bend it. So I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to tighten everything up, and then I'm going to back off about 1 millimeter and see what happens. Yeah, that worked okay. So now I have enough slack to where it's holding my bead caps in place, but it also allows my necklace, my chain within there, to move and lay right. So you're just going to have to play with it a little bit to make sure that you get the proper tension on there. And now I'm going to put my ends together. So I have to kind of squeeze this one a little bit so I can make sure I've got everything centered. And I didn't get too far off center. So I'm just going to trim this just a little bit just to make sure they're the same length. And then we can go ahead and put our crimp tubes and our little size 1 crimp beads and our little clamshells on. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Put your clamshell on first. Then slide on one of your crimp tube or your crimp beads, your little size 1s, and squeeze it. You can put a drop of glue inside your clamshells also if you would like. That way you'll know it will stay very secure for you. But I don't have any with me, and working with it on camera, I always make a mess of my hands and everything else, my bead mats. So if I can avoid glue, I avoid it. Okay, come here. All right, so I've got my little crimp tube on there. Let's get you close. And then I've just got a tiny bit of chain hanging out at the end, and I am going to squeeze that down. Then I will close this clamshell by the belly first, very gently, trying to keep it in alignment so that my hole is nice and open when I'm finished. Then I'll squeeze the tops together like that. Now, go ahead and do the other side, and we'll come back and put the necklace together. Okay, so now you can see I've finished my center chain here. So this is my 17-inch chain. This is my 19-inch chain, and I have them laying to where the 17 is on the inside and the 18 is on the outside. You're going to do exactly the same thing with the Elegant, just like this, and you're going to put it together the same way I'm going to show you how to put together this one. So lay them together so that you can find your ends easily. So I have my longer chain here and my shorter chain here. You're also going to need a 6mm jump ring. I'm sorry, I forgot to put that in my material list too. So we've got a 6mm jump ring, a lobster claw clasp, and an 8mm jump ring. We're going to grab the 6mm jump ring, and we're going to find the opening, and then we're just going to put a plier on either side and crank it open just like that. And let me back up a little bit more. Now, it matters what order you put this on. So I'm on the right side, and I'm going to pick up the long chain first, and I'm going to put it on the jump ring. So the outside chain first, and then the shorter chain, the inside chain second. And then I'm going to drop on my lobster claw clasp. Now, sometimes with these little clamshells, you need a smaller gauge of jump ring, because a real thick one won't pass through the little circles on them, so the little loops on them. So you'll just have to figure out what size you need, and then close them. Close the jump ring the way you opened it, and I just distorted mine. So it's going to be one of those days for me. I know it is. And I will have to fix that. I have it fixed somewhat here, but I can always change it out. So this is how this is going to lay out, just like that. Now we're going to do the other side, and we're going to start with the inside first. Now I've got my 8mm jump ring, and I'm just going to find the opening, crank it open again, and I just like to hold on to it with my chain nose. Then I drop on the inside first, so that's the shorter length of chain first, and then I'm going to drop on the longer length, the outside chain, second. And here's what I was talking about. Sometimes you get them off a little bit when you close them, and the loop on them can be a little difficult to slide onto your jump ring. Then I'm just going to close my jump ring again, just like that. Now I can put my necklace together here, and I can show you basically what it's going to look like, because when I pick it up, you can see, because of the way we cut the chain, the inside shorter than the outside, you're going to see that it will lay very nicely in between the beads on the outer chain, I guess I want to say. So like this. And when I spread it out, this is what it's going to look like on the neck, just like this. And it's going to be very pretty. Of course, I got a little crooked here. That's just the way it's laying. It's not crooked at all. That's how it's going to lay on the neck, just like that. And then we're going to show you the elegant one. That turned out really pretty. I really like that. So, and I made a bracelet in my last tutorial to go with it too. So let me show you that. That is a pretty set, my friends. I like that. Of course, I'm a sparkle girl, and I like sparkle, and I like clear beads a lot. So that is really pretty together. Let me show you the elegant set. And then I think we may do the earrings in the next tutorial. I have to see how long this is, but we're going to lay this one out so that it's nice and pretty, if I can get it to do it. Come here. Now, you behave. Laying jewelry out. I spend hours laying jewelry out for photos, for this, for that, I tell you. Okay, so that, my friends, is what that one's going to look like on the neck. And let's see if I can get it better. And this is the bracelet that goes with it. And let me untangle it, because it's all tangled. There we go. Stop it, please. And now my phone's gonna bleep, because you know that's the kind of tutorial I'm doing today. Everything's weird. So that's that set. And I have made a little set of earrings, which one fell on the floor because that's what's happening today. I've made a little set of earrings that looks like this, and I have not made the clear ones yet to show you, but I think I'll do that in the next tutorial because they're really cute and you can do them with all kinds of different beads. So this will be the next tutorial, is the little earrings that will go with it. And here's the entire set, and it's really cute. And I actually do think I did make one clear. I did. I didn't put an ear wire on it yet. But here's what the clear one is going to look like. And I think they're just really pretty sets. So anyway, we'll make a tutorial for the earrings, and I'll pop these all up together pretty quickly so that you don't have to wait for your entire set. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Sorry for the lighting and for my weirdness and everything else. Just one of those life situations that came right in the middle of a treasure bag release, so I've been trying to catch up. And again, if you have any cat advice, I've never owned a cat before. Lots of dogs, never a cat. So if you have cat advice, please leave it in the comments. I would appreciate it more than anything. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.